Quote, Iranian diplomatic personnel have repeatedly been implicated in assassinations abroad. In other words, they're really good at this. They can reach all around the globe to kill people when they want to, and they have done it. And so the U.S. government was aware that Iran wanted to kill U.S. officials. They knew Iran was capable of doing that kind of thing. They knew Iran is very experienced in that sort of thing. They've killed or tried to kill their own dissidents and whistleblowers and political opponents, not only just over, all over the Middle East, but throughout Europe. They have killed people. They've even tried to kill people here in the United States before. Their security services have reached all around the world to kill people. And they have done it sometimes by finding turncoats, like that Air Force intelligence officer. They've done it sometimes by just sending out their own agents into the world. They have done it even by partnering with just straight up criminals, by partnering with mobsters and drug gangs in order to carry out targeted killings for the Iranian regime. And they have done it for decades. I mean, you think Russia is good at, flinging people out of windows and dosing people with exotic poisons all over the world? The Russians are pikers at this sort of thing compared to the Iranians, who have not only been doing it for decades, they have been very good at it for decades. And so in the wake of that 2020 U.S. drone strike that killed Qasem Soleimani, the U.S. government soon became aware that the Iranians were plotting to assassinate U.S. government officials in response. And who exactly were they going to assassinate? Turns out they were going to assassinate President Donald Trump's national security advisor at the time, John Bolton. The Iranians also tried to assassinate Trump's Secretary of State at the time, Mike Pompeo, and Pompeo's senior advisor, a man named Brian Hook. But the U.S. government, at least, was on it. They were aware of it. They knew about these plots and these specific threats and who was being targeted. Bolton and Pompeo and Hook, among other things, were all given round-the-clock security details to protect them from these very live assassination plots. In 2022, a member of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps was formally charged in the United States with the assassination attempt against John Bolton. It also emerged that the Iranians had put together an assassination plot targeting President Donald Trump himself. They were able to bring criminal charges. The federal criminal trial in that case, in the Trump assassination case, that trial actually just started last week in federal court in New York. I mean, for everything else Iran is a big country, more than 90 million people, and they are a powerful country with a sophisticated, intensively resourced, world-class, ruthless set of intelligence and security services, which, of course, target their own people at home to disastrous, murderous effect, particularly recently. But those security services and intelligence services also have tentacles all around the world. And they have used them to target the regime's perceived enemies all over the world, including in the United States of America. Luckily, the U.S. government has been all over them on this. They know what the Iranians are capable of. They know what they've been trying to do. Among other things, the United States government has specialist counterintelligence agents in the FBI who specialize in these kinds of threats, specifically emanating from Iran. Right? We know what we are up against with Iran. And, obviously, China and Russia, they also pose major threats along these same lines. Russia and China have their own dedicated counterintelligence specialists inside the United States government. But the China and Russia specialists are separate from the Iran specialist FBI counterintelligence team that works on this specifically, that guards against this particularly pointed threat from this particularly capable adversary. It's a group at the FBI. It's a unit called CI-12, CI for counterintelligence, CI-12. And thank God we've got them now, right? Now that we just killed Iran's supreme leader and started a huge new war with Iran, with apparently no idea what the consequences would be of us doing that, at least here at home, even if we're just going to be selfish in terms of the risk to us. Well, thank God we've got a unit like CI-12 that really uniquely knows this stuff, that's on it, right? The group that got that Air Force intelligence spy who defected to Iran. that got the people who tried to assassinate John Bolton and discovered the plots to kill Mike Pompeo and Brian Hook, and even the plot to kill Donald Trump. Thank God we've got this group, CI-12, right? Last week, FBI Director Kash Patel, while he was coming off a wave of terrible press about U.S. taxpayers paying him to fly to Italy so he could go to a hockey game and chug beer in a locker room, while he was heading into a whole new round of fresh reporting about how he has ordered an elite FBI SWAT team to be personal bodyguards and basically a chauffeur service for his girlfriend, in the middle of that bittersweet symphony of competence, last week, FBI Director Kash Patel fired a dozen FBI agents and staff in the elite counter-espionage and counterintelligence unit CI-12. The unit specifically that specializes in international threats from Iran, including their potential reach here in the United States. Kash Patel just fired his way through that unit. Last week, MS Now's Carol Leonnig reporting tonight, quote, on Monday, meaning today, people inside the FBI are bracing for the possibility that Patel will fire more agents and staff on CI-12. Carol Leonnig is going to join us live here in just a moment on that new story. You might also recall that right after Trump was sworn in for his second term, one of the first things he did was take away the security details that had been assigned to Mike Pompeo and Brian Hook and John Bolton because, yeah, sure, maybe the Iranian plans to assassinate them were still live, but, you know, if you're Trump, who cares? I mean, the Iranians targeted Trump too, but he has Secret Service protection. What does he care if they knock off anybody else? He'll be fine. We don't know why Donald Trump just started this war in Iran. The Washington Post reported this weekend, and the New York Times reported today, that Trump did it basically as a favor, that there was no U.S. intelligence that Iran posed any imminent threat to us, but Saudi Arabia and Israel told Trump to do it, and so he did it. Because, hey, you know, America first. Strongman. We're just going to put our military at the disposal of other countries because they can tell Trump what to do with it? Quote, the attack came despite U.S. intelligence assessments that Iran's forces were unlikely to pose an immediate threat to the U.S. mainland within the next decade. But he did it anyway, because Israel and Saudi Arabia told him to, and he apparently does what they say.
This being Donald Trump's war, of course, Donald Trump has changed the possible time frame of his war from days to months. The fact that Donald Trump is a proven pathological liar, combined with the fact that he is demonstrably incompetent, makes it very unlikely that Donald Trump tonight has any idea at all how long his war will last or what it might accomplish. Donald Trump has given a variety of reasons for launching his war, including regime change, but Donald Trump is calling on the Iranian people to deliver regime change for him.
To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death.
How about lay down your arms and face certain death? Lay down their arms to whom? If an Iranian soldier puts his rifle on the ground, who's going to pick it up? Would it be picked up by one of the millions of opponents of the regime who would then immediately use that weapon to shoot and kill that soldier who put it down? Trump told the Iranian military, you will be treated fairly with total immunity. Treated fairly by whom? With total immunity granted by whom? There is not a person in Iran, in the military, or an opponent of the military, who can take a word of what Donald Trump said seriously. And then there is this.
Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass.
Imagine, if you will, any one of Donald Trump's brave sons or daughters, or Donald Trump himself, living in Iran tonight, not yet killed by a bomb. Is that what Donald Trump Jr. would do? Run out there and, quote, take over your government? Is that what 19-year-old Barron Trump would do? Quote, seize control of your destiny? Would Barron Trump's mother let him go out into the streets of Iran and seize control of his destiny? She won't even let him enlist in the American military and serve in his father's war. So not only is Donald Trump telling people to do something that he and no one in his family would ever do, he is leaving the entire burden of his war on the people he is bombing tonight. To wait until Donald Trump is finished bombing them and then take over your government. It will be yours to take. We have been in this delusion before.
There's another way for the bloodshed to stop, and that is for the Iraqi military and the Iraqi people to take matters into their own hands and force Saddam Hussein, the dictator, to step aside and then comply with the United Nations resolutions and rejoin the family of peace-loving nations.
That did not happen. And when that president finished bombing Iraq, Saddam Hussein remained in power until that president's son became president and said this when he launched his war against Saddam Hussein in Iraq.
We come to Iraq with respect for its citizens, for their great civilization, and for the religious faiths they practice. We have no ambition in Iraq except to remove a threat and restore control of that country to its own people.
Republican presidents launching wars never fail to pledge their friendship to the people they are bombing.
The oppressed people of Afghanistan will know the generosity of America and our allies. As we strike military targets, we will also drop food, medicine, and supplies to the starving and suffering men and women and children of Afghanistan. The United States of America is a friend to the Afghan people.
Tonight, the people of Cuba should probably be planning where they will hide from the bombs when American friendship.
Trump's domestic policy hurts his foreign policy, and his foreign policy hurts his domestic policy. The two are always connected, but some presidents have managed to separate them better. Critics argue that Trump hasn't done that. Take the cost of living, for example. Opening phase conflict with Iran, which they call illegal, is likely to push oil prices higher if supplies are disrupted. When oil prices rise, it doesn't just affect gas at the pump, it can increase grocery prices, airline tickets, shipping costs, everything that depends on fuel for planes, trucks and trains. Business usually pass those higher costs on to consumers. So everyday people end by paying more. At the same time, critics point to domestic spending cuts made during his administration. They argue that reductions to agencies like the FBI and other security departments, move tied to budget priorities and tax cuts, may have weakened parts of the country's preparedness. Those agencies help monitor both domestic and international threats, and opponents believe scaling them back can affect readiness during global crisis. So, in this view, domestic choices ripple outward into foreign policy challenges, and foreign policy decisions circle back to create economic pressure at home. Critics say this pattern has made both Iran more unstable, arguing that Trump's approach blends the two in ways that simply problems rather than contain them.